Hello! This is the One Episode Rule, a podcast about first impressions. I am Magpie. Just haven't watched anything but Dungeon Meshi. I've just been
Same.
playing too many
Same.
video games.
Yep. Right there with you.
I'm in the Fallout 4 mines, and I recently picked up Ghost of Tsushima as well.
Get a lot on your plate.
Mm-hmm. And despite Ghost of Tsushima being about samurai, it isn't even the least bit anime.
Not even close.
It is directly aligned with samurai movies. So,
Your beach episode?
there is
No, but there
beach
is
episode.
sauna scenes.
I've killed many people on a beach, but it doesn't constitute a beach episode. So yeah, how are you guys?
I'm Blackle. Been watching a lot of Freerun. I'm like on episode 23. Sad to report my enthusiasm for it, though still high, has waned slightly because they're doing a tournament arc.
Because they're doing the
Tournament arc.
They're doing the exam. I don't know. I found the exam to be pretty fun in some of the ways it subverted how things works.
Yeah, I don't usually like a sort of tournament / exam sort of deal, but I thought Freerun did pretty good, all things considered.
I like the first bit about catching the bird. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. And I like how it ends.
Then Orochimaru showed up and bit Sasuke. It was really weird.
It was
I
weird.
was more like upset because it was like, oh, this is gonna be like a 2-parter, huh? And then it turns out
No.
it's
No,
way
it's not.
longer.
It's a good several episodes.
Nope, this is your last arc.
Yeah.
No.
Anyhow, it seems like this week was Blackle's turn with the anime. Hi, I'm Joey. I didn't really watch anime this week. I did catch up with Dungeon Meshi right before we hopped on. They let him milk a minotaur. Thank God.
Spoiler alert.
That episode is great.
It's a good one. But yeah, I've also been in Fallout Mines, but New Vegas instead of Fallout 4.
The other Fallout.
The other one.
The better one. I just can't get over it. It's just like, Bill Chuck, they let me milk a minotaur. Good for you. Keep
Good
that
for
to
you.
yourself
Keep
next
it to yourself.
Nice one.
That sounds like Chill Chuck.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Louis. I haven't watched anything either, but I rewatched the Dragon episode to Dungeon Meshi last night with some people and who were watching it for the first time, and I got to see their reactions, and that was fun.
Yes.
Cool.
Spoiler alert, I guess, if you haven't watched that much, but like there's the Dragon things like 3 parts, and after part 1 they were like, what's gonna happen next, because it looked like there shouldn't have been 3 parts, but then it was. I'm trying to be so vague right now.
Everyone who's listening to this
Spoiler
must
alert.
must watch Dungeon Meshi. Dragon, there's a dragon there. Don't
Spoiler
worry about
alert
it.
for like side materials that don't even affect the actual anime. The best joke Ryoko Koei has ever drawn is that image of Fallon wearing the shirt where she's chilling in the dragon's stomach.
Yeah,
it's really funny.
She drew that multiple times,
and
she's like a little skeleton in there.
That's one of her favorite gags.
It's a good one.
So what you guys want some? Oh,
sorry,
go ahead.
I just had a side thought. What if Dungeon Meshi had Fallon control the dragon like in the stomach, like a cockpit for a mecha?
Oh,
that's incredible.
Isn't there an anime like that where you're like in a dragon? You get bored by a dragon, but it's like also you're piloting it.
Dungeon Meshi.
I've never heard of such a thing. Do you guys want some news?
Really?
Yeah.
It's Cyberpunk news time because maybe only super exciting for me, but Ghost in the Shell is going to get a new TV anime.
I saw that.
I saw that.
And it looks like it's based more heavily on the manga, so it's got a very retro look to it, and it's being done by Science Saru, which is great. Science Saru fucking rule.
Hell yeah, I'm into it.
This looks great. This may be time for me to buy that the manga because it's surprisingly affordable to just get all of it.
Neat.
I think it's like $50 to get it in like a hardbound volume. So
sounds pretty cool.
And in one of the stranger anime like peripheral pieces of merchandise I've ever seen. Cyberpunk Edgerunners is getting an epilogue in the form of a release for Cyberpunk 2020, the tabletop role-playing game,
Oh, that's not where I was expecting that to go.
in the form of the Edgerunners mission kit, which is going to tell the story of the aftermath of the anime series.
Wow. You know what? I have an amount of respect for that decision.
That's pretty neat. The way Trigger and Mike Pondsmith managed to work together was pretty cool
Hmm.
for being in such disparate industries.
Yeah.
And that's all the news I happen to scrounge up.
All right. Only cyberpunk themed
Only
media
Cyberpunk
this week.
news.
Well, are we watching a cyberpunk anime this week?
I don't know, Louis, are we?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think this is Cyberpunk. This is probably not Cyberpunk.
Okay. Fair enough.
Sorry, there's no running theme this episode.
okay.
I don't have any grandiose thing to say.
Hmm.
We're watching Kaiju number 8.
Kaiju
Yay!
number
Yeah.
8.
I've
heard
been
about
looking
that.
forward to that.
8th one.
I'm
There's 8
aware
of
of
them.
that.
All right.
Let's watch it.
Are they gonna eat all that?
Yeah, I was trying to
I
work
literally-
some sort of like kaiju steak.
Yeah, Dungeon Meshi has irrevocably changed all of us.
Altered
I think.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been
Mhm.
altered.
Yes,
Permanently.
I wrote that too. I did.
It's rare to see an anime inspired almost entirely by that one scene from Pacific Rim where the black market people are cutting up the kaiju.
I was thinking that this was more like Viscera cleanup detail
Yeah.
anime.
No, like they even get like a big like armature in place over it to do it. I'm just
Okay.
like, this is that scene from Pacific Rim.
I haven't seen Pacific Rim, so I'll take your word for it. But
We gotta watch that sometime. It's decent.
yeah, be good.
Additionally, then this is for no one. It's the fucked up things the Austrian are doing to the tower meet in Warframe whenever you show up to their village.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Building stakes. But but anyway, who wants to hit this blurb? It's Louis. Louis wants to hit this blurb
Louis doesn't.
because you brought it.
Fine. Do you want me to read all that? Like all 3 paragraphs?
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes we only read the first one, I don't know. After the destruction of their hometown, childhood friends Kafka Hibino and Mina Ashiro make a pact to become officers in the Defense Force, a militarized organization tasked with protecting Japan from colossal monsters known as Kaiju. Decades later, the 32-year-old Kafka has all but given up on his dreams of heroism. Instead, he cleans up the remains of the slaughtered kaijus after they are defeated by valiant soldiers, including Mina, who has successfully achieved their shared goal. Upon meeting his new co-worker, is it Reno?
It looks like Reno.
Reno, I believe.
Reno? Okay. Reno Ichikawa, Kafka faces a mirror of his past self. An ambitious young man whose one desire is to fight as a member of the Defense Force. Unfortunately, the two are soon involved in a freak encounter with a rogue kaiju. Though Kafka demonstrates his innate heroic nature and rescues Reno from certain doom, he is left gravely injured. While both men recover in a hospital, Kafka is seemingly attacked by another one of the beasts. As a result, he gains the ability to transform into a humanoid kaiju with the strength and powers of the massive monsters menacing Japan. Dubbed Kaiju number 8 by the military, Kafka resolves to use his newfound gifts for the greater good. Tied together by mutual respect, Kafka and Reno set out to join warriors like Mina at the forefront of the Defense Force. Jesus Christ!
So shout out to the first anime I've ever seen that has a character named Kafka.
I was going to
who
say, do you think
transforms into something weird?
I was like, do you think the name is symbolic? Womp 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 womp.
I thought it was more of like a what's the word? metaphor, like a metaphor for him, like sort of waking up and realizing that he's turned into a vermin, right? Not so on the nose is what happens here.
Although I will say that that what he turns into isn't really like a big bug, and it's more like Skullmageddon from Double Dragon.
Yeah, he turns
be
into a
so-
sick ass monster that like he gets cool powers. Why did the bug do that?
He looked a little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit like Barry the Chopper from Full Metal.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think it would be so funny if there was like a version of this scene where he opens up the like curtain separating their beds, and he's just like a bug. He's like a big cockroach just lying on his back.
6 foot long cockroach.
It would have
And
been
it's just
so
like,
much
oh,
funnier. They
That's
could have
not good.
committed to the bit.
So
Yeah.
we should talk about what actually happens in the show.
Yeah, they spoil a little past what happens in the show actually in the summary, but that's okay.
I like how this opens because it opens in Yokohama. People just going about their lives and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, kaiju. It comes up from underneath a bridge. It looks like.
Yeah.
I take what is the word that I'm gonna say? I take
Offense?
offense, not quite, but I'm calling never mind, I don't have words.
Okay.
I'm calling bullshit on this scene because they specifically later on say, wow, this was an event with no casualties, and that monster absolutely came up directly under a bridge with people on it. They didn't make it.
No, they made it. They're fine.
I'm calling
They're
bullshit.
fine.
They're listen. People from Yokohama are scrappy. They made it.
They're built different.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I have a question and a shitpost.
Okay.
Yes.
Question. How do you guys feel about Earth kaijus versus space kaijus? Because I would personally prefer kaijus coming from space rather than living on a shell of a planet that's full of giant monsters.
Yeah. I can dig it.
I get what you're laying down. I like the thought that they come from like way under the ocean or something.
Disturbed by the idea that the planet is a hollow Earth full of monsters. Yeah, I get it.
The Earth is a giant egg. Egg Earth theory.
God.
But if you think about it, there's a lot more space than the interior of the Earth, and all that space can be full of monsters.
Sure.
I don't think
they might go into it at some point in this show. You never know.
I don't think it's good either way, but
I still have my shit post. Actually, I'll wait until the end of the podcast to say it because
here, stop, so I can wait.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, this I like this monster. He reminds me of he's got he looks like new Godzilla.
I was gonna say
new Godzilla,
but a little bit of Shin Godzilla energy.
Nah, he looks like Godzilla 2000.
You think?
Or American Godzilla, because there was a Toho film called Godzilla 2000.
He was just a big lizard. But
yeah, he looks like that, except he's got like a sort of a fox coloration, so he's like red on his back and pale on his belly, and his face is short like a Gila monster. He's got little glowing bits, and he looks like he's having an absolutely great time.
Hila!
It's not the GiTS.
No.
This looks like someone's Kaiju Sona, and I love that for them.
Yeah.
That reminded me. No, that can wait too. I'm drawing cards and holding on to them.
Let's move right along.
With me right now?
No, anyway. But that's actually really funny.
You're on a podcast. You're supposed to talk.
So
it's fine.
So yeah. Suffice to say, this creature fucks up part of downtown Yokohama, and they call in the military. And the military shows up, and they do the military thing that they do in kaiju shows, which is they shoot missiles at something, and it doesn't work.
They jump around, and it's
well,
almost...
I hadn't talked about them yet.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I was talking about just the regular ass helicopter
I
pilots.
didn't
that
remember
go
the
up and
regular ass helicopters. Not
Drop
gonna lie,
drop some missiles on the bitch, and it doesn't seem to do anything.
he
Which
doesn't
makes
like
what
them.
happens next pretty interesting because uh, all throughout this seems like it should be very intimidating for the locals, but they actually seem to be taking it fairly well.
So here's the
Shout
thing:
out,
is they've got like infrastructure about this. If you look at their like red lights, they have a red light, and then they have after the red light, they have another red light that's kaiju shaped.
big fucking monster light.
Yeah, imagine
They,
needing kaiju insurance.
they
People in this city definitely have kaiju insurance.
but they're taking it pretty well because they're all gathered around the TVs. It's like, who's going to take this one out? It's just like, well, it's Yokohama. It's got to be the third division, right?
Hmm.
And then we get introduced to the third division, who jump out of helicopters, and like half of them seemingly come out of nowhere, um, but with their future armor and their future guns. I didn't think they were going to go immediately to small arms fire to take care of this thing.
It seems to be effective.
Uh, Initially, it doesn't seem to do anything at all, but then Mina shows up, and Mina shows up with the biggest gun currently available to walk around with,
Yeah.
because she just flat blows a big hole through its chest, and I was just like, well, that's one way to go about it. Usually you don't do infantry charges against kaiju.
The scene
Uh,
was very cool. I liked it.
yeah, and she blows a big hole out of it, and then he furthermore explodes afterwards.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
blood
Um,
everywhere.
something happens to his insides because of that beam weapon.
It almost seems more accurate, like, because like guns contain a lot of kinetic energy, right? So like
Mhm.
there's only so much kaiju media I can watch without being like, that's not like, how can it take so many bullets and not have a scratch? Like, that makes no sense.
I agree with you, and whenever it's Godzilla versus a bunch of fairly large military tanks,
Hmm.
I don't know about small arms fighter, but yeah, and then that cool scene is followed up by the reporters are obviously talking about how cool the third division are, and while they are, some other people are moving cranes and shit into position because the show has to talk about what no other kaiju media talks about, which is the fact that this thing is covering 5 blocks of downtown Yokohama with its
Clean
viscera.
up, clean up, everybody,
Everybody
clean
do
up.
your share.
I am horrified by the fact that they have developed a custom attachment for a excavator that is just a big meat saw.
Yes,
Hmm.
they
I mean, if
take
you
a
need it,
big
you need
old
it.
chunk out.
Um, so yeah, we join our main character Kafka as he goes about his work in his white clean suit,
He's eating a
which is
burger
he's eating a burger.
for
He's
some reason.
watching this shit, and
Burgess.
well, let me ask you this question, Louis. If this was your job, would you want to eat before or after?
Okay, I understand eating before. I don't understand eating at the scene while looking at all the visceral stuff and eating. Like
He's
I
gotten
would eat
used to it.
before I
He's
got there.
Maybe you
desensitized.
got a late lunch and you want to choke it down before you have to get in there.
Before you have to get up in the
Then
shit zone.
then eat in the car before you get into work, like my guy.
But yeah, it's because it's time for them to roll out, and roll out they do. And they're cutting big hunks of flesh out. They got chainsaws. He's they stuck fucking pittons into it so that they can climb around the sides.
Yeah.
There's little
Mhm.
drones flying around. It's just be like, hey, this company wants a sample. Can you get one, Kafka? He's like, oh, thank you. Domo arigato, the drone says to him.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that was like a drone like talking. I thought it was someone talking through the drone.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, it is.
It is someone talking through the drone. I wasn't
Yeah.
just
That's what I
okay.
was
I think it
saying.
was a
In terms of
microphone. Yeah.
Okay,
Like
I
a
speakers
misunderstood.
on it. Pilot's probably talking to him.
Mhm.
But
Yeah. Okay.
but yeah, they start cutting the place up, and he's clearly a veteran at this, so he's sort of directing the others, and he looks down and he sees them about to move a big piece of viscera with a crane, and he's just like, "Wait a second! Don't hoist that up," because it starts bubbling up, and it bursts and burns the shit out of some guy's leg.
Yeah, it's full of like stomach acid or something,
And
I
he
guess.
he immediately goes into triage and was just like, "Oh God, I've had these before. Here, tie this tourniquet here, and we'll we'll rinse out the wound,
Yeah,
and we'll
he
call the
like
paramedics,
neutralizes
and
it with something.
make sure to file your workman's comp."
Yeah.
I love
Yeah, I
that part
loved
so
that.
much. As someone who's been injured on the job before, that's accurate.
Um, and after that, his boss is just be like, "Hey, Kafka, we need you somewhere else. We're short-staffed in another area." And he's just like, "Cool, boss. Where am I going?" "The intestines." "No, not again."
No, not shit duty.
It's just like, because if you think about it, yeah, what's in them? Yeah, shit. And yeah,
They immediately cut over to him like cutting up the intestines, and there's just
with a
cartoonish fart
chainsaw.
noises.
Yeah, there's fart noises, and they've
Full on
mosaic
green
censored
stink
amongst
clouds.
they've
Yeah.
mosaic
Yeah.
censored a bunch of
It's
stuff. Um, at some point, there was a scene with a parade of the third. Not really a parade, but just them walking down the street while the public gawked at them, and they looked really cool.
yeah,
Mhm.
they sure
Um,
did.
and Kafka did not look cool. I don't know if well that I think he has his flashback later that evening, because we do cut to him after work in his home, and he's just like, "Oh my God, I can still smell it."
Yeah.
And
It's like I'm
he's
gonna be eating liquid foods for a week. It's the only thing I'll be able to keep down.
Mhm.
If you
and he's
hadn't had a
watching.
burger.
Um, Listen, that's the last burger he's gonna have for a while. You
Mhm.
gotta savor it. Um, but as he's watching the news, and he's watching a piece about the third division and their leader and their captain Mina, and he has a flashback to the fact that yeah, they were kids together.
Yeah, they
Their
knew each other.
hometown was destroyed by kaiju,
Hmm.
and I need to mention this. Uh, it mentions that she has personally destroyed hundreds of kaiju, which
Yeah, that's a lot.
I'm just like, wait, is the problem that bad?
It's
Because it,
well, okay. I have to suspect that some of them are smaller than others
Hmm.
because they kill a kaiju later that is substantially smaller. It takes up. It's probably the size of like more of like closer to like a bus
he's the
than
size
like
of like
Godzilla.
3 elephants,
Yeah, it's big, but like
but
I
not in,
suspect that it's got to be that sort of situation. Not all of them are Godzilla sized. There's going to be a lot of smaller
still,
ones.
it's a real problem if you're
Oh
dropping
yeah,
hundreds of them personally.
yeah.
Like, I'm not sure
Mhm.
this is a workaday kind of situation
Maybe she kill steals.
so much of as a slow apocalypse. But
Yeah,
yeah, he has a flashback to them as kids because and how they swore that they were going to join the defense force and become officers together. And he just thinks about what he's doing with his life, and he's just like, "Oh man, where'd it go wrong? Ah, shit, I should have thought about that."
Where did it all go wrong?
Aw.
Um, and then it's time to go to work again the next day, because this is gonna take weeks to clean up.
Oh, they said they got to get it done by the end of the week.
I think they said 2 weeks and 2 weeks, and then they zoomed out, and it's just like, this clearly isn't going to be done in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know.
Um, because he goes to work the next day, and he's riding his little motorcycle, and he's like bitching about at himself. He's just like, "Why'd you have to go and think about that and get all disappointed in yourself?"
Hmm.
I appreciate the fact that Kafka is like 32, by the way,
Yeah,
Yeah.
compared to a lot of other manga protagonists. You like a grown person.
yeah.
Mhm.
I like very rarely to see it because even the ones that are adults are usually like 20 something.
Yeah,
You get
yeah.
a like a
Mhm.
30-something-year-old protaginist. Hell yeah, I can
You
relate to
get
that.
you get the
I'm 30 something.
I just like a grown person protagonist, because you get to skip all of the teenage character growth
Yeah,
that authors choose
true.
because they're lazy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because like we didn't need the world to be ending to learn these lessons, did we?
Yeah.
uh,
Makes me think Makes me think a lot of anime protagonists, if they weren't forced to become heroes, would just be really shitty
Would
people.
suck so bad.
Um, but yeah, and as he's suiting up in the locker room, he's saying, I the camaraderie between these guys is great. Like local garbage man union is a bunch of good people.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're
Mhm.
really nice.
Triumph of the working man. But he's introduced to a real anime protagonist. I think it's very funny because the new guy is a younger guy, and he's determined to join the defense force, but he wants experience with this while he's working on applying.
Mhm.
And he is a white-haired, blue-eyed.
Yes.
Mhm.
And he is bringing the attitude to the table
He
immediately.
is bringing
Yeah.
the Sasuke attitude to
Full
a
of
certain degree.
attitude.
Because it's just like, yeah, I'm going to pair him up with you because you wanted to join the defense force, right? Before you gave it up, didn't you give it up? Maybe you do have something in common. And as he goes to his locker, he's just like, "Shit, no matter how I answer this, I'm going to look I'm going to look pathetic."
Yeah, they did set him up for failure with that
They've
one.
done him dirty.
They did.
And yeah, for his part, the kid who's named Ichikawa is just like, why'd you give up? He's just like, well, I failed the exam a couple of times, and as you get older, you start to realize that maybe there's others with greater ability who would do better in the job, and it's not the worst thing to give up. And he's just like, I don't understand that reasoning at all, and I don't want to.
I will never give up.
I will never give up.
Like, wow, rip to you. Couldn't be me.
He's just like, and then they have to report to the job site, and they get their assignments. And the kid gets intestine duty.
Yep.
Mhm.
And so does
They're-
Kaufman
they're
after
on
he
intestine
floats
duty
for
again.
exactly 1 second.
Yeah.
After they spend a couple of hours cutting up guts, they're sitting in the park trying to eat their lunch, and he's just looking at him. He's just like, that kid's not going to eat today.
He's like, oh, you brought a bento. Yeah,
like-
you're not going to be
like-
able to finish that, are you?
He's just like, I don't have a lot of appetite. And he's just like, here, drink this. And he throws him one of those weird jelly drink containers.
Yeah.
I don't understand those. I don't know what the fuck they're supposed to be.
They're just some sort of, like, goo juice thing.
Yeah, they look like goop. Are they goop?
I think it's closer to, like, drinking, like, applesauce, if that makes any sense.
I've never drank apples.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is that's the closest thing I can think to compare it to.
It feels like anomalous, like if you just drank gravy. But anyway, he throws him one of those. It's one of those nutrient things, and it's just like, here, drink this. You'll need all of your energy if you want to get through today. He's just like, I really don't want this, and he's just like, oh yeah, take these, and he turns back to him, and he's got these earplugs shoved into his nose because they look like the earplugs they give you at a shooting range.
Yeah, they are just earplugs, I think.
It's just like, it'll make it much better. He's just like,
no,
I don't know, man. I don't really want. He's just like, here, just try them on. He's trying to force him into his nose. He's like, no, leave me alone.
No, I don't want that.
And we get to the end of the day where they've basically finished up, and it's just like, whew, it looks like the worst part is over.
Yep.
And some other guys are just like, all right, we're going back to the place. It's just like, yeah, I'll join you in a bit. Good work out there. And it's just like, and as he surveys the place, Ichikawa does come up behind him, and he's just like, he's like, I just wanted to say that I was able to get through my first day because of you. Thank you, senpai.
Respectable.
He's just like, oh, maybe you're not such an ungrateful little shit.
Maybe you don't suck.
Maybe you don't suck as bad as I thought you did. And he's just like, they recently eased the restrictions on age for getting into the defense force, right, to 33. Just in case you wanted to know, because you seemed really sad whenever you talked about how you'd given it up.
And then the Fire Nation attacked. The first kaiju was very standard. The second kaiju,
what do they call it? A yoru?
Yonju or something like that.
This little spider motherfucker comes
Is
in.
horrific.
Mhm.
I hate it.
He's the size of a bus, and he looks like one of the Pokemon spider types, except he's got a fucking human head.
This is like evil Spinarak.
He's awful. He's like Evilac from the fucking cartoon. That's for nobody. Nobody knows what I'm talking
Nope.
about.
Sorry.
If you guys want to laugh at an old cartoon, just type in Evilac into YouTube and observe. But yeah, they're clearly in a bad situation. This thing just burrowed up out of the ground, basically.
Which is, again, why I would hate to live on Planet Kaiju.
You don't want to live on Planet Kaiju. It's full of monsters.
It's full
Like,
of
you could just be
monsters.
having a wholesome moment with your senpai, and then all of a sudden...
this thing's trying to eat you.
No casualties, don't worry.
Kafka does save him from it at the last second, though, and he's just like, you gotta run and call the defense force. He's just like, what do you mean run? It's just like, well, it's just like, well, you can't become an officer if you're dead. He's just like, I see, and he goes to lead it away. He picks up a pipe, which is hopeful,
Mm-hmm.
and he bangs it on the ground. And he says, look at me, look at me.
Over here, ugly.
Describing the next scene isn't really gonna do anything for the listeners other than it's pretty good. And I gotta say,
scene.
during this chase scene where he's outrunning this fucking abomination, I was clued into the fact that the music in this show fucking rules.
It's good.
It is hard to describe. It is very freeform, like grungy rock shit.
Jazzy.
Jazzy. Actually, an adjective I will use to describe the show as a whole is grimy.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's got that Doro Hedoro grime on it.
A little bit.
And yeah, he runs through one of those shaded shopping centers that they have in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
He bursts out the other side out of the window and cuts his face and has another flashback. He's fitting a lot of stuff into his day.
Mhm.
A flashback to the conversation he had with Mina whenever they were children. And they're talking about just like, I can't believe the kaiju ruined my Pokemon save.
And she's like, wow, you're mad at a video game? My cat died. My kitty. I couldn't save
My
her.
little kitty cat.
And I was like, not the kitty cat. She's
I think he was trying to make her mad because he saw how depressed she was.
Yeah,
He's
probably.
trying to coax some life out of her.
Yeah, I could get that.
Mhm.
And then they both basically at the same time just say, I want to join the defense force. And it's like, why do you think you can do it? It's just like, well, you're not that much older than me. It's like, well, let's have a competition to see who can be cooler about it.
Yeah. Spoilers, he didn't make it.
He didn't make.
She won.
But listen, round 2 is coming up.
Round 2. Ding ding.
But yeah, it eventually it does eventually kind of corner him. He's just got his pipe to defend himself with it. And it doesn't it? Yeah. He's just like, if I go for the legs, maybe I can get them, and it just slaps him.
Oh, it breaks him. It breaks his leg in half.
It's got big like human paws.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
Human paws? They're called hands.
Actually, I'm thinking a more accurate term is ape hands, because that's what they look like.
Well, yeah, I get you.
Human paws and ape
Human
hands.
paws.
They're furry on the back, all right. But yeah, it just breaks his leg in half. And he's just like, oh shit.
Oh god, I'm not gonna make it.
When Ichikawa hits it in the side of the head with a stop sign to keep it from eating him. He's just like, why did you run? It's just like, well, I did run, and I did call them, but I couldn't just fucking leave you here, or otherwise I'd be a real shit officer, wouldn't I? He's just like, well, you got me there. And they face off with this thing that's clearly about to eat them. and then it gets ripped to pieces by a tiger.
Yeah.
I like that there
Mhm.
was no foreshadowing for the white tiger.
I
No,
had
it's
to
just
rewind
there.
because I was like, is that
You're like, huh? What?
is that a tiger?
It's just
Yeah.
like, is that a fucking tiger? Yeah, it like cuts it apart like a samurai would.
Mhm.
Like it tears a bunch of chunks out of it before it realizes it's dead, and then it falls down. And it's Mina. It's Mina's like tiger familiar, I guess. Um,
This is
and
why you don't kill a little girl's cat. She will come back with a full-grown
she will
tiger.
come back with a tiger. And yeah, she immediately orders is like, oh, it's just like we're on a rescue mission now. You two go down there and secure the casualties, and the rest of us will sweep the area for more of these. I'm just like, she's Sugoi. She's so cool.
Yeah,
She's in command.
extremely.
And then Kafka has to go to the hospital.
Yeah. They both go to the hospital.
They both
be
go
fair.
to the hospital. It is funny because there isn't a reveal about Ichikawa even being in the room until he speaks. It scares the shit out of Kafka because
Yeah.
he's daydreaming and he's like holding his
Mhm.
hand up and looking at it like an anime character.
Yeah, he just turns over. He's like,
Yeah.
I really like the trope of anime characters being so like self-conscious about doing anime things
Yeah.
Mhm.
It
because
was
they've
cute.
become like self-aware.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
They have a boys moment, and I loved it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like you were really cool. You should be an officer. And he's just like, you know what?
You know
There's
what?
nothing
I
wrong
think
with
I'll
giving up,
try.
but I was lying to myself this whole time.
Uh,
And then a horrible monster assaults him.
he moves his
Mhm.
hand because he's still got it above his head, and he's like, "What is in behind my hand?" And there's just like a dragonfly thing there,
It's
and
one of
it
the
says,
like minor curses from Jujutsu Kaisen. It's
Yeah,
awful.
it's got like a lamprey mouth.
it's
It's like,
purple.
found you.
Found you.
And then
I see.
it thrusts itself down his throat like a fucking face hugger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me of that part in like that scene in The Matrix.
This scene is actually really rough. Because
It's visceral.
he's
Yeah.
like seizing and shit, and it's like
He
zooming in
like
on his
trips
eyes.
out. Everything
Yeah,
like turns weird colors.
he starts hearing demons and
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like spooky faces floating around the screen.
and Ishikawa is just like in the next bed over, and he's just like, "Holy shit, senpai, are you okay?"
Are you having a grand mal seizure? What's going on in there?
And whenever he pulls the curtain aside, he's turned into Skullmageddon from Double Fine.
Yeah. He's like,
He's
dude.
He's just like, and he sees his reflection, and he's like, "Oh shit,
Oh
Ichikawa,
shit.
it's
He's
me.
like,
You
it's me.
realize it's me, right?"
I like
And
how
they look.
Ishikawa doesn't lose his cool,
He doesn't lose his cool, but he is stunned.
but then there's just like a little
Mhm.
old man walking by behind them.
This moment is great because the little old man is walking past the open door and he's just staring at him for a
He's-
second, and then a phone just appears in his
Yeah,
hand,
it's
and
very funny.
Yeah.
they think about the tiger ripping the Yoru apart, and he's just like, "Oh shit, senpai, you gotta
We
run!"
gotta go.
You gotta get the hell out of here.
He's reporting you right now.
He's reporting you to the
And
principal.
then I am told that the outro music is
One Republic.
by One Republic.
By One
Of all
Republic,
things.
famed band of Apologize and Counting Stars. You know
It's
them.
too
You
late
love
to
them? Question mark.
apologize. I don't.
You will love them.
They sing the song. They
They
sing the ending
roasted me
song
for not
this.
knowing about One Republic earlier, and I'm just like, I only know that song because of memes.
That's. I mean, but
Mhm.
you do know it.
Uh,
Gotcha
and
there,
then,
right?
Got you there. You've been got.
and then there's an outro scene after that of Mina doing cool girl shit in her cool girl apartment,
She's having a bath.
taking a bath. She's touching her scar.
She's
Now
having
she's calling a
memories.
cab.
And there's a tiger. Her tiger is still there.
Mhm.
She did
Wow.
not
Yeah.
unsummon it. I guess it's just a
She
real
lives
tiger.
with the tiger. I think that's great.
It
Tigers
just
are
feels like
roommate.
No pun
it
intended.
just feels like a genetically engineered monster tiger. That she
Yeah,
keeps
I
as a
don't
pet.
know. It's just there, and she's like, "Oh, there's another one. We're gonna go get it over at the
It's just like,
hospital."
well, I'll
Okay.
dispatch somebody to the hospital to fucking kill it.
Uh-oh. Well,
And, that,
I
and
think
that's the
he's
end of
gonna be
the.
okay.
I think maybe he won't die in the next episode.
Yeah, here's hoping.
So, so what do we think about this? I've already described the Dorohedoro grime I've detected on this, and you know that shit is like
Dorohedoro
catnip.
grime, positive.
Yeah, you know that shit's like catnip for me. It's incredible. Plus,
Yes.
the banging soundtrack
Yeah.
makes me think that hey, maybe there'll be more of that later. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's a pretty hearty endorsement. I'm gonna watch more of this for sure. I liked
Mhm.
it.
Same.
Good pick.
Mm-hmm. Black.
Blackle.
I thought it was well done.
All
Okay.
right.
I
that's-
definitely a bit of enthusiasm for watching it, but I don't know.
No, that's about as
that's
roaring
glowing
an
praise from you.
endorsement as Blackle gets on this
Uh-huh.
podcast very often.
Yeah.
I thought it might do well with you just because of the charm of the characters. Like
It's incredibly well animated.
Yes.
The thing is, if the transform didn't happen at the end,
Mm.
I would love it.
mm-hmm.
As it stands, having only watched one episode, I don't trust what it's going to do.
Okay.
I've only seen one other clip of this show, and it is some fucking pretty good situational comedy with him in the monster form
Mhm.
about like and I think the joke ends up being I have to piss and I don't know how to piss in this form.
Wait, I love that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm into this.
So yeah, I might watch some more of this. It seems promising.
I believe there's only 7 episodes out right now.
Yeah, we
So-
covered something relevant for once.
Now's the time to catch up, if any.
Mhm.
So yeah, listener, if you'd rather live on the planet attacked by space monsters rather than the planet full of ground monsters, like some sort of horrible egg, then you can tell us about that at oneepisodecast@gmail.com.
That is one the word, not the number. Tweet us your kaiju opinions. We are at One Episode Cast on Twitter and Blue Sky. We listen. We don't talk about kaiju that much, but hey, I just realized I thought this was going to be about big robots. There were no big robots in
There was no
this.
big robots. It's big monster
just-
hours.
I
Big
just remembered my
monsters.
shitpost. We can't end
let's
yet.
have it.
Okay.
So, okay, Joey had me thinking earlier when they were like, "No casualties. That's bullshit. Look at all these people who died. What if they were actors?
Crisis actors?
yeah,
Yeah, just like all of it was faked.
yeah, they're faking it.
What? Wow.
Don't know how I feel
I
about
don't-
that.
I don't know. How could this?
My
No,
answer,
you
by the
broke
way,
me.
my answer, by the way, is I want space kaiju, but not because I care where the monsters are coming from, but just because in movies where the kaiju comes from space, it's always set by some sort of evil civilization from space, and that implies the ability to steal space travel from them.
I gotcha.
Come on.
This is a boon for humanity.
That
Come
is
on, we're just
hilarious.
primitive apes. Go ahead and land your ship. It's not like we'll
Yeah.
kill you
It's
all.
not
with
Not like
we're
we'll
rockets
going
fucking
and then-
break your fingers and force you to teach us how to fly.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
exactly.
They can't come here. We would be terrors in the universe. You guys understand what horrors it would be if humanity had space travel. We can't discuss this. This is beyond
Yeah.
the realm of the podcast.
Yeah, Jojo, that's the plan.
Why
I
isn't
know it is. It's scary.
I wanna-
More scarier than egg kaiju.
I want to be out there with the first wave.
it?
Do you guys think anyone saw Kafka in his monster form and they're like, "Whoa, I feel
I mean,
something right now"?
I mean,
Yes.
not yet.
I
Oh, we're
guarantee
not
you
talking
they're out there.
diegetically.
No, they're out there.
I'm talking
'Cause I
about
think-
some Kafka freaks.
Oh
'Cause
no,
I-
there's Kafka freaks easily.
Because I'm saying that it could happen in the show.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it could happen in
yeah.
the show.
I'm thinking
Like,
about
ooh,
I'm
you're
thinking
so
about
tall
Chainsaw
and
Man's
spiky.
chainsaw fans. It could happen.
Mhm.